Hey guys, it's Clint. So I gotta thank Tug, the umbrella guy, or that umbrella guy, for packaging up this story for me so neatly. I had been following, and if you remember, all of the fallout over the swatting of Peter Simeti of Alterna Comics, a lot of the comic creators came out and had all sorts of crazy reactions. I made a video about that the other day, but you may remember Matt Miner in all of that. And this is the tweet that he sent out regarding it. He said, "It's no secret that I have my issues with Comicsgate and with Alterna's embracing of Comicsgate, but let me be very clear that I and nobody I know condones this kind of stuff. I condemn this kind of action in the strongest terms. Whoever did this is no hero and has no place in comics." Great. So this is obviously a denial, and again, I've gone over this before, but it's also him smearing Alterna Comics, or what he thinks is smearing, by calling it an embrace of Comicsgate, and obviously he's saying that Comicsgate is a hate group, so it smears all around. So yeah, why can't you just condemn bad action without trying to put a jab in there? I mean, come on. So he posted this just today, and I thought this was maybe he's waking up and there's some kind of common ground. There's something that he's understanding many of the complaints from Comicsgate. So he said, "I saw a comic creator publicly dunk on a reader," and then he puts in parentheses, "a fun dunk," as though this is something that they say all the time. So this is word on the street. They have fun dunks that they do on Twitter. Let's see. So he fun dunked a reader for not knowing the creator's work better and for asking an honest question. And I'm here to tell you that that's a bad look, and you'll lose enthusiastic readers this way. It reminds me of a story that I'll tell you now. So he's got a heart-wrenching story for us. Now, this is really strange because I come from the world of writing and authors that write. There's a very, very different culture between writing authors and their readers, as opposed to comic book creators and their readers. It's not normal. It's really strange, and I don't know if it's because there's so many people that wish they could be creating comics, and it's such a small industry, it just feels closed off. And so once people make it and they become comic pros, they have this huge ego. I'm not saying every comic book pro, but there's certainly a lot of them. They want to make people feel small. They want to make themselves feel important. We've seen this time and time again. And again, this is, some of the things that Comicsgate complains about, is that creators don't care about their fans, at least many of them. So he starts, and a lot of SJWs start their story with some kind of tragedy that, that they are born out of. It happens every time. Maybe I'm going to do that on a live stream. Start out with why my life is tragic. So he says, "It's no secret that a house fire in 2003 killed my cat and destroyed nearly everything I owned. Well, that sucks. My books, my clothes, my photos, my family's passed down Christmas ornaments, and yes, most of my comics and all of my toy collection. Crushed. I gave reading comics a long break." Okay, yeah, that's too bad. That sucks. I'm not sure what that has to do with the rest of the story, but they always do this kind of thing because it underpins then the rest of your life. Because a tragedy happened to you, the rest of your life is going to be colored by this tragedy. Saw the same thing from Scott Kurtz, by the way. He, somehow that justifies everything else, or makes, anytime when something bad happens to them, just that much worse, because it's piled on top of this other event that happened for, really long time ago. He continues, "When I finally got back into comics, it's because we moved near Midtown Comics, downtown location, and one day I went in and met an enthusiastic and very kind dude named at Tedo, who infected me with comics again in the best way. Ted's great, and downtown location rules. Anyway, through recommendations by Ted and the rest of the great stuff, I ended up reading a very big series that I'd completely missed. It was huge. There was a movie, and I loved the books a lot. I started following the book's creator on Twitter." Here we go. Here's the romance. Now it begins. "One day the creator's talking about video games, and I chime in with something like, 'OMG, there should be such and such video game.' but I was newly back to comics, and the creator decided to publicly tweet quote me and dunk on me for not knowing there already was a video game. Does this sound familiar? This is, again, the same kind of stuff that you see far too often. The comics industry is so small. When somebody talks about their work, rather than, being a decent human being, of course they're going to dunk on them because they think it's fun. They even call it a fun dunk. This is something that happens commonly. Matt continues, now it's possible this was a fun dunk where the creator was just joking, you guys, but it also read as the creator being insulted, that I didn't already know about the game, and how dare I be new to their work. And this creator has a massive social media following. He didn't say the name. Yeah, I hope in private he told this creator, don't be a jerk, but you can't do that because that's hateful. You just have to take it. So what happens? For the next 2 weeks straight, this creator's fans harass me nonstop. Does this sound familiar? Insults and put downs one after another for not knowing about the video game because I was newly back to comics. Took the fun out of the fun dunk, I guess. And guess whose work I didn't buy anymore? Was it Dan Slott? Because I don't buy Dan Slott's work anymore. Is that it? Really soured me on this creator for like forever. Embrace your new readers if they don't know your previous work, and that's an opportunity for you to get them onto your old stuff and build readers for life on your new stuff. Don't dunk on them for being new. Okay, so this is an example. He knows that this kind of stuff happens, and I think a lot of comic book pros know this kind of stuff happens. I don't know if it happened to them, before they got into the industry, so now they feel like they need to do it to others. But I would say, well, Matt Miner, this is a lot of the problems that Comicsgate has, is that comic book pros don't care about their fans. They're treated like garbage. And if you associate, all you have to do is follow. If you just follow somebody in Comicsgate, you're going to be blocked by just everybody, wholesale. So yeah, it is discouraging if you're interested in comics, but there's such a narrow threshold. The problem is that people like Matt Miner himself does this exact same thing, and he does it on a regular basis. I would hope that things could change, that things could be different. Maybe he will. Maybe this would be a wake-up call to him, and he could change. But here's an example. If you read any superhero comics but are new to them, web comics, manga, YA comics, adult comics, indie comics, literally any other type of comic, then you're a real comic fan. F Comicsgate gatekeepers, you're welcome here. Now, last I checked, Comicsgate hasn't been gatekeeping people from reading comics. Comicsgate has been pushed out of comics. Yeah, so here's another one. Right now, brilliant writer and rad person Gail Simone is taking a monumental amount of crap from Comicsgaters, intent on misrepresenting her for their own agenda. Always support Gail. She's one of the good ones. Gail is a perpetrator of fun dunks all of the time. The thing is that you've just decided who it's okay to fun dunk on and who it's not okay to fun dunk on. You see the problem here? So the creator that did it to you, I'm sure, had some kind of line that they had, that they weren't gonna be mean to certain people, but they're willing to be mean to other certain people. I don't know if it had to do with your race, your gender, your bald head, whatever it might be. Who knows? But it didn't feel good, right? So I don't understand why then, you're doing the same thing. This one's awful. Hey, Comicsgate, maybe change out of the dirty anime t-shirt and piss-smelling sweatpants before feeling empowered to tell women how to dress. Wow. Whoa. Was that a fun dunk? Was it? This doesn't make sense. And here's another one. Sucks. I'm thinking maybe before, hey, you want to pitch a book together? We need to start being all, no offense, but have you ever, raped folks? Really? How do you feel about Comicsgate? Are you a closet bigot? Oh, gosh. Oh. Where do I start with this one? Why are you comparing somebody that's a rapist to Comicsgate? That's ridiculous. They're not even closely written. Nobody in Comicsgate thinks that rape is okay. This is insane. So I have to say, for me, this is certainly a turnoff from Matt Miner's work, and I am not interested in reading any of it. Really, I'm not. And this happens so common. So I wish that there could be a little bit of self-reflection and realizing that it doesn't feel good to have a comic book pro smash you because you're not in the know. It also doesn't feel good to be smashed by a comic book bro because you just have a different opinion, or you have a opinion on comics, because you're not allowed to. You can only lick the boots of comic book creators because that's what they've been so used to doing. They expect it. They want to be treated like their celebrity status, and they want to treat everyone else like garbage. So I can tell you that things are changing. There's really something special in the industry happening. That is Comicsgate, which is the consumer movement that has pushed against the stuff just like this. And so I happen to be a creator in Comicsgate. I've got this book, Downcast, that's going to be coming out on Indiegogo on April 2nd. If you're interested in this, you can join my spam-free mailing list in the link in the description below. It's going to be really fun. It's politics free, and I promise you're welcome to ask questions. I will not dunk on you for fun. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.